And welcome to another episode, the third year of All Rell Good. My good friend, number 40, Richard Rellford, two-time Big Ten champion back in the 80s under Freeds, Antoine Jobert, Gary Grant. We can go on, and Rob Henderson. We can go on and on about those glory teams. Rich, so great to see you. My God, you look younger than you did last year. What's your magic formula for looking so good, my friend?
How you doing, Tom? It's
I'm
good
doing
to be
great.
back on the show. And
yeah,
you know what, man? I work out 5 days a week, and I work with ages 3 to 12-year-old kids at the YMCA. So believe me, they keep me young.
So that's the formula. Just hang out with young kids, teaching basketball down in Toledo, Sylvania, if I'm not mistaken, down there, and doing great things with young people. Teaching the game you love to the next generation or a couple generations from you. That's all really good in my mind. And let's get into it. Michigan basketball. I mean, Juwan's back. I mean, you love Juwan. We all love Juwan. Preseason rankings going into the Buffalo game, which took place. We're going to talk about that in a second. Took place on Wednesday night. We're hearing like 6th in the nation. You're hearing Purdue and Michigan are going to battle it out for the Big Ten. It's just so great to have Michigan relevant consistently now. Beeline started it. Juwan's picking it up, maybe even escalating it because he's getting some really good players that we're going to talk about. But how do you feel being a former Michigan basketball player, a basketball alum? Basketball alums, you feel that's your program. You got a piece of the cake on that, in my mind. How do you feel about your program right now going into this season, 2021-22?
I am as happy as I was when I played.
Really? Okay. That's good.
Because I am a big Juwan Howard fan.
Yep.
I believe in Juwan and the way he's bringing these kids in. I watch these players, and Juwan doesn't bring them in only because they're good players. He brings them in because they have good character and they're good kids.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a program. You know, talking to guys and telling them how much Michigan makes everything feels like a family. Well, I watch those guys, and I plan to go to a few more games than I did last year. I just think that we're really good. And, you know, when you get young guys, it takes a minute to gel, to get together. But the one cog that I think that they got real well is Dickerson. I just think that Dickerson, Hunter's going to be the key because I don't care what anybody says. When I played, the 7-foot center makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm gonna put this scroll up here because I'm gonna do that right now. Your former teammate and a good friend, Tim McCormick, as you see the scroll right now, he calls Hunter Dickinson, Eli Brooks, Devontae Jones, Caleb Houston, Musa Diabate, and T-Will, Terrence Williams, best balance in the Big Ten. And I'm telling you something about Tim McCormick. He doesn't go overboard on the sugarcoating, especially with his own program. He doesn't do that. That got my attention.
Listen, I was listening to Tim the other night, just now we're talking about it. I think a lot of the guys will be that way. I think we see high character guys. Yeah, we got a bunch of young, great players, but you know, Tom, being a Michigan man, that character matters to us.
Oh, yeah.
And that determines how we play.
Yeah. No, there's no question about it. And okay, let's break into it. Michigan against Buffalo. I mean, it's like, whoa. I mean, they started. I'm going to be at the Seton Hall game as you are on Tuesday. I was not able to attend. I had a conflict, not able to use my media pass down there for Buffalo. And I guess they raised the banner, the Big Ten championship banner, and decent crowd. Finally, a crowd back. That's kind of a cool thing. 88-76, Michigan to win. Jumped out big time in this game. I mean, they got the big lead, and then they let it squander away, if you will. Your overall impression of what you saw, and maybe, let's keep in mind perspective-wise. Do you remember game 1 last year? Michigan played Oakland, which was not a very good team as it played out. And it took Hunter Dickinson had to come to the rescue, if you remember that game. And then look where that team went. It all went to the Elite Eight, okay? So we weigh too much in these early games. But did it surprise you that Michigan had, let's call it a roller coaster ride a little bit in game 1? Do you remember your game ones, and are they difficult?
They're difficult from the simple fact that everybody that you have that is new, you're not going to know how everybody goes until we play the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Practice is a whole lot different than when you play against somebody else.
Yeah.
And what happened was I saw Caleb Houston and I saw those guys in the beginning. They were all hyped, and that's why we jumped on them the way we did.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, even though Buffalo is not big as a Michigan, they got athletes who wanted to come or wish they were there or upset that didn't get recruited by schools like Michigan.
Right.
And so then for them, this is like a championship game.
Yeah.
And so you have to prepare for this. And I think Juwan did a good job in the beginning when they started. But then you have those lapses when you get up on teams by so many.
Yeah.
Then you start having lapses. And then, you know, a good team shows you how they react to those things. And we still won.
Yeah, they held them up. I mean, Michigan, you know, they made 6 3-point. This might not be a big 3-point shooting team, I'm thinking. I mean, because they go to Hunter. I mean, Hunter Dickinson, that Michigan with 27 points. That's his 6th career high game. He had 6 boards. When he gets in a roll down there, I mean, he gets it cooking. But I think defensively, keep in mind about Buffalo, the Buffalo Bulls, they call them in the MAC. I mean, the MAC, first of all, you had Akron, should have beat Ohio State. Ohio State had a buzzer beater to win that game. Eastern Michigan gave Indiana all they wanted down in Bloomington. And then Buffalo is the favorite in the MAC, Rich. They're the favorite team. They're projected at least a 10 or 12 seed in the tournament early on. I mean, as the season starts. And they're one of 6 of the first 8 opponents that Michigan has, Rich, are projected to be in the NCAA tournament. So it's not just Cupcake City for the Wolverine. I think, to be honest with you, this was a quality win. I really do.
Listen, every win to me was always a quality win because you need them in order to prepare for the next one.
Yeah.
The one thing about it with this Buffalo team, and I get to watch the MAC over here in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's not a weak conference.
No.
They have really good players in the MAC, and Juwan, I like what Juwan does when you challenge these teams because, like you said, Akron really should have beat Ohio State.
Yeah. Oh, man, they had dead to rights. They had them. But Ohio State showed you what their program brings. Yeah. Those are the difference in your players towards the end. Akron didn't get any lucky things to happen for them. And to beat teams like Ohio State and the Michigan, you got to be lucky. It don't just happen. No, and they had, they scored. They scored. They took the lead. They had a 4-point play, I think it was. I mean, they had the lead, and then the Bucks come down there and they go inside and they get the bucket right. I mean, right at the buzzer.
Right.
I mean, that's down in Columbus. And, Akron will probably – Akron's a pretty good team. All those MAC teams, they'll probably 3 or 4 teams out of MAC sometimes go to the NCAA tournament. So we really shouldn't be shocked. So Caleb Houston is the dude. That's the dude. That's the highly recruited kid. And I'll tell you one thing, his jump shot, it looks almost as smooth as Richard Rellford's was. It's up at that level, man.
Well, I got to tell you, Caleb Houston is my guy. He's the sole McDonald All-American this year.
Yeah.
And so I've always had this soft spot for those McDonald guys.
Yeah, Richard Rellford was a McDonald All-American. I remember when that. This was before the internet. I mean, just I was living down in Houston when I heard that. This was like 1982. Did you say? Was it?
Yep, 1982.
Yeah. So that was a big get for Frieder because we were a little bit worried about Frieder. How's it? Johnny Orr is gone now. Freeds is there. Is he going to be able to recruit for himself? I know he was good. He was a good guy for Johnny Orr, but he got a big class. I mean, that was the first Fab Five.
Yes.
You and Tarpley and Robert Henderson and Butch Wade, and then the football player kid out of Brother Rice, Paul Jokic. Yeah, that was the original Fab Five.
Yeah, we got everything start going again.
Yeah. Back to this Michigan team, Rich. I mean, there's a lot of blending, if you will. Hunter Dickinson, as we mentioned, 27 points. He had three other kids in double digits. T. Will, who I like to talk about, Terrence Williams, who's a sophomore, who evidently, according to Juwan in the postgame presser, talked about that this kid stayed in Ann Arbor all summer, worked his ass off, got a little more chiseled, if you will. It shows. He looks different. And my God, if you got him as part of your rotation with Brandon Johns, you got Devontae Jones. We're going to talk about him in a second. Caleb Houston, we'll talk about him in a second. And then Mr. Cool, suave, never gets rattled, Eli Brooks. I want to start with Eli. I thought Eli closed this game out for Michigan. Don't you think?
I'm going to tell you something. We don't move without Eli. Eli is the key to this whole thing.
Eli coming, baby.
Eli coming, because I'm going to tell you one thing about that Eli Brooks. Not only is he a good leader, but when we need a big three, he going to always come through for us.
He does. I mean,
and when it comes down to lockdown defense on the other guard, he going to do that too.
Yeah.
So, Eli is a very important piece to what Juwan has going on. I kind of look at that and I see how Juwan has pretty much developed his team this year, and he's heavy on responsibility for Eli and his point guard position.
He really is.
I really believe your point guard has to be smart, and we have that. So I think we're going to do really well this year, Tom.
Yeah. So when you got at that guard play, you had Devontae Jones from Coastal Carolina, who that's a highly anticipatory thing. Wow, this guy the problem is he got in foul trouble. He got 2 fouls. And
right.
then the Michigan way is when you get 2 fouls, your ass is on the bench. That's the Michigan way, right?
Yes, it is.
And it threw him, he was, it kind of derailed his game. He ended up with 7 points. I think that, but you can tell that he's got experience, and so he'll be good. Frankie Collins and Kobe Buffkin are 2 other freshmen. Kobe's a kid out of Grand Rapids Christian. Did 4 minutes. I mean, I just like that they're relevant, that they were in this game. I mean, this team. Let's face it. This was a 10-person rotation. We talked about those 6 that McCormick talked about. Maybe that top 6. But I like. I'm sure Frankie Collins and Kobe are going to get a lot more time and blend in more often. But let's talk about Moussa Diabate. 16 minutes. Raw, unfinished product. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, he is.
What do you see in him?
I'm gonna tell you, he is for a big guy. I was surprised because, to be honest, the other day was the first time I ever seen him play.
Oh, I hear you. I'm right with you on that.
I was impressed. I think that defensively in the Big Ten, it's important. And he's going to be a pretty good all-around player as well as a good defensive player. I like him.
Yeah. I think so too. Michigan scored 88 points, and I think they're going to be a scoring team. How do you feel? I mean, this is one sample size, so this is probably an unfair question, but are you concerned about them more defensively probably than you are offensively? Is that an accurate statement?
Well, I'm 50-50. Because defensively, Hunter's in the back.
Yeah,
as long as Hunter's in the back.
Yeah,
that's all. To me, that's the key to having a great defensive team.
Yeah,
when you have somebody like Hunter. Offensively, I'm gonna need a lot more than Caleb and Hunter scoring.
Yeah.
50-50. I think we're gonna be both. We should be good, Tom. Listen, we're not ranked this high in the beginning of the season for nothing.
Yeah. I say I got a kick out of. I was amused that they're in it. I mean, I like the inaccuracy. 5 of 28 from 3-point land for Buffalo. Man, they might be. They don't care if they just keep firing them. 5 of 20. That's a lot of 3 balls and only hitting 5. I think I might try another alternative measure. Wouldn't you?
I think they should have started shooting some 2s because they count. You know what I mean? All those 3s they make no sense to me.
No.
Because if you're not hitting, why are you okay? We believe in this. Shooters shoot.
Yeah.
Okay. We keep shooting until we hit.
Yeah.
Well, come on now.
Yeah.
After about 9-10 in a row of not making none, I think it's time to go to the 2-point range.
Yeah. No kid. Can you tell me about? Let's go back and those. And I'm gonna focus on the Big Ten championship years in particular of 85 and 86. What were the December games like for you? I mean, before Big Ten play started. Now, it's different now because Big Ten play starts in a couple. We have 2 Big Ten games in December. Right. It was January before you got to play a Big Ten game. Did you have a hard time getting up for some of these games, or what was your attitude going into a non-conference game? Say you're playing a lower echelon MAC team or EMU or whatever. How did you get yourself up for those games?
What we did was this. We felt like we were going to play them really, really hard to prepare ourselves for the Big Ten.
Okay.
We didn't want to sleep on anybody because we knew that small schools was going to come at us.
Yeah.
Because they knew the reputation and things like that and how we started playing from my sophomore year.
Right.
They knew. And so we I'll be honest, Tom, we didn't want to take it up. We wanted to try to beat everybody we could by 30 because we wanted everybody to play. Because a lot of times, if we wasn't up by a lot of points, a lot of the young guys didn't get a chance to play.
Yeah.
Like Mark Hughes and those guys.
Yeah.
Lloyd Vault. But if we got up by big numbers, come on, man, our kids get to play well, and be prepared for years to come.
Yeah, no, that's true. Did you? I'm trying to think back. Did you guys go to Maui one of your years?
Yes.
What year was that? Your senior year?
No, my junior year we went to Maui.
Okay, how did you all do?
We won the Rainbow Classic.
You were you were in the Rainbow Classic, not the Maui. Okay,
not the Maui. We was in the Rainbow. We went to Maui for vacationing, just to have a good time.
Oh, okay. So you went to Rainbow Classic. You won.
Yes,
you won it. Okay.
We won. We won the whole thing.
Okay. What was that like? It's like I'm sure growing up, your family wasn't flying you out to Hawaii. I mean, what was that like as a student athlete? Did you feel like you're like a rock star? What, going out to Hawaii?
Well, just to let you know, Tom, I took a visit there my senior year in high school.
Oh, you told me that.
Yes,
I don't think that was totally. I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, and I love you, Rich. I don't think that was a totally sincere on your part recruiting visit. Like, yeah, I want to play for the Rainbows or whatever the hell they call them.
Listen,
come on.
It wasn't because as a kid, and you said it just earlier, my family wouldn't have been able to afford for me to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, most people can. I mean, I couldn't go.
And so what I did was I had a chance to go when a coach in Las Vegas saw me play, and I saw the little rainbow on his shirt and said the University of Hawaii. I had put word out there that I would love to visit that school, and I was 15 years old at the time.
Wow.
And by the time it came around to my senior year, they sent me a letter. And I didn't answer a lot of those letters back, believe me, from other schools. But when I got the Hawaii letter, we called them and told them that I would love to see it. But I got to be honest, I liked the team, but the atmosphere was too much for me because I couldn't go to school there. When I went to visit one of the classes, when they took me around, I told you before, the girls were sitting in there with these little wraps on for the class. And the first thing came to my mind was, who gonna learn anything with girls in here with bikinis on? I know the professor ain't looking at us because I'm looking at them. God. And so that was the reason, man. I wouldn't have studied anything.
You got that 17-year-old testosterone going. It was not going to work out for Richard Rellford.
No, it wasn't gonna work out.
You're much better option to focus at the University of Michigan.
There you go. You know what? Not only that,
I'll just leave it at that. Okay.
There you go. It was a whole lot more easier at the University of Michigan.
Well, I mean, when you went there, I mean, did they actually think that you might consider them, or can you really feel that they just knew we got an outside shot?
No, they thought they had a really good chance, which they would have if I wouldn't have saw the girls in the bikinis. And then the other strike against them was my family would have never been able to see me play.
Oh, I mean, they weren't even on television,
right?
I mean, you wouldn't have even had. And this is early 80s. I mean, my God, ESPN was just getting going then. I mean,
that's exactly right. The outside shot was the killer for them, that they wasn't on television.
Yeah.
If they had been on TV like they are now, they would have had a great chance.
So besides Hawaii and Michigan, What were the other schools? I know St. John's because I think your brother played for St. John's or something like that.
Played there.
How many teams offered you?
LSU. With Lefty, with the coach in LSU at the time.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Yeah,
because I know Lefty was at Maryland.
I can't think of his name. Yeah,
Lefty Drizel was at Maryland because Maryland was the other
one.
And I'm brain locked on.
Dale Brown. Dale
Brown. There you go. Yeah. Dale was at LSU.
Yeah,
and those were the schools that I really thought about going to. Dale Brown, he really sold me. The difference is that Anthony Carter was at the University of Michigan.
Okay.
And
did Indiana recruit you?
Yeah, they recruited me, but they didn't have a chance because I got a letter from Bobby Knight. I read it and put it back where all the other letters were.
Okay. Did you not go for a visit?
Nope, never wanted to go visit.
Why?
I think because I don't know. I was never interested because Bobby Knight, to me, I wasn't big on coaches like him screaming and yelling all the time.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Yeah, I don't know anybody.
And that was before they say he started putting hands on guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what else hurt them. John Flowers was a McDonald's All-American the year before me.
Okay.
And the stories that I heard.
Oh no, was it Bruce Flowers? Bruce Flowers.
No, John Flowers. He's about 6'9" from Indianapolis. He was okay.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
He ended up transferring to UNLV.
I got you.
About 6'9".
I know who you're talking about.
When he transferred and they made a big deal, I knew he was the year before me. I knew I wasn't gonna go to school there.
Okay. Was there any other Big Ten schools?
No. You get the letters from Gene Katie and them at Purdue and all those things, but Ohio State, I told you, they sent me the first letter I got where the first contact was a football thing for Ohio State.
Right. So did Bo? I know Bo always teased you when you came into the down there in Hoover Street, the football or the coach's offices, and you'd walk by him and he'd say, "Get in here." He'd tease you for not coming out for football.
Right.
Did he actually? Did he want you to play football?
Yes,
did he recruit you to play football?
No, he didn't recruit me to play football because I'm gonna tell you what I liked about him. He didn't want to step on Frida's toes.
Wow, that surprises me because
that was the big deal.
Well, he and Freeze weren't exactly buddies.
Exactly, and he knew. I think Bo knew because he had Anthony, and all you had to do is say something to Anthony about it to me. And if Anthony had brought that to me, I would at least thought about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you had Anthony Carter, but he didn't because I think at that time it was Frida's. He was just starting as a head coach, and I think Bo just respected him that much.
Yeah. Did you ever consider playing two sports? Michigan had a guy named Rick White who did that. Right. In the 70s. I just think that would be really hard to do.
No, for my sport, it would have been too difficult. Yeah. So you can do football, baseball.
Yeah.
But
football, basketball.
Basketball, because they follow right behind each other.
Too much overlap.
Right. It's too much overlap. It took you too long to get back in shape because it did that for me in high school. It took me too long to get my basketball stuff back from football.
Well, Quinn Buckner did that his freshman year at Indiana. And play football and basketball. And I had him on a radio. He said it was too much. I mean, so he gave up football. And the basketball, I mean, he got to the NBA. It obviously worked out for him.
Right. It worked out. Out. Like I said, if I hadn't made it in the NBA, I would have probably had other thoughts.
Yeah.
But after my stint in the NBA, I didn't think about football.
Well, I think your body thanks you, Rich Rellford, for not playing football.
me too, Tom. Believe me when I tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen, we got episode number 1, year number 3 here in the books for all Rell Good. We got a long way. We got a great basketball team to follow. The MIchigan Wolverines. They might have some hiccups along the way, or they're not going to go unscathed. We know that. We know that first week in January, you got Michigan State on a Saturday, January 8th at Chrysler, and then Purdue on Tuesday night at 9:00. Think about that 3 days. It's going to get crazy, but right now it's just kind of getting in sync with this team. So we're going to have between you and Chris Young, 2 former players, 2 outstanding intel guys here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. I got 2 of the best. And so we're going to have both you staggered. So each going to do one once a week. Opposite Games is going to have you on on Wednesday for all Rell Good after that Seton Hall game. Hey, when you're playing Seton Hall, I mean, that's Big East, baby. That's
Big
big
East,
time,
baby.
man. That's big
right.
time. It's a 9 o'clock tip. We'll see you down there, Rich. It's great to have you back, my friend. I missed you all summer. It's good to get caught back up.
It's good to be back, my friend, and I look forward to all the podcasts.
All right. Until next time, all Rell Good on the Crawford Podcasting Network.